Thank you for joining our FileCatalyst November webinar. This month we have a pleasure to have David Miller with us. He's the COO of Empress, and we'll be talking about how FileCatalyst and Empress have joined forces to integrate FileCatalyst file transfer technology into Empress. So today I have Dave Miller with us. Myself, I'm John Tkachevsky, President and Co-founder of FileCatalyst, and Elton Carnero, the Partner Integration Manager at FileCatalyst. Elton worked closely with a lot of our partners to help them integrate our software into their solution. So we're going to go very quickly over the introductions. I'm going to talk then about FileCatalyst Direct. We're going to talk about our ecosystem, partner ecosystem. Then I'm going to give the mic over to Dave, and Dave is going to go over the Empress Media Asset Management introductions. And then he's going to talk, him and Elton are going to talk exactly how FileCatalyst was integrated into eMAM. Finally, Dave is also going to walk us through a typical workflow, and we're going to have a bit of a chat about FileCatalyst integration options within eMAM and for any other partners. Finally, we'll have a Q&A. If you have any questions, please type them into the question box in the GoToWebinar panel. So FileCatalyst is we're a file transfer company. We provide large media file transfer since 2000. We have a lot of clients in the media space. Empress Media Asset Management is a media asset management system that provides YouTube functionality for corporations. So what we do with FileCatalyst is that we provide speed and reliability to normally unreliable FTP or TCP-based file transfers. So if you want to transfer a file from LA to Hong Kong over a 45 megabit line, a 6 gig file will take 44 hours. With FileCatalyst, the same file will take only 20 minutes. So it's really about time savings and security and reliability and time savings. Same thing applies to if you want to send a file from LA to London. You'll have a 16-hour file transfer. With FileCatalyst, it's 20 minutes. So the reason why we're so much faster is not that we're accelerating the transfer, we're rather optimizing the bandwidth. So with any TCP-based file transfer protocols, including FTP, SFTP, HTTP, they all use TCP. TCP has been around for a really long time. It's the underlying internet protocol that's used today by pretty much everything. And it's very good for, smaller media, smaller files, but has not been designed for transferring large files. By large files, I mean 2 gigs or more. And especially this is very common in media industry where you have files, of 10 gigs, 15 gigs, or even larger. So TCP is a very chatty protocol. So I have to send a bit of data with a data packet, and I have to wait for an acknowledgement from the receiver. Once I get that acknowledgement, I'll go on and send the next set of data and wait for an acknowledgement. So the protocol is very serial, and it's there's lots of waiting there, because while I'm waiting for an acknowledgement, I am not sending any data. So if you add latency into the mix, what's happening is that the acknowledgement will take so long to travel back that I am not maximizing the bandwidth. FileCatalyst completely saturates the bandwidth by transferring files nonstop. So I'm basically going to tell my receiver, listen, I'm going to be sending you data nonstop, and if you see any missing data, just let me know. And then I'm just continuously bursting data and sending them through, sending it through the bandwidth, maximizing the bandwidth. And the receiver will know if some data is missing, because I will mark every single packet I send, so the receiver will know if something is missing or out of sync. So we are we're always marketing ourselves as acceleration, but really what we are bandwidth recovery software. So if you take an example here, North America to North America, 40 to 60 milliseconds latency, you'll be getting about 6 megabits. If you go back to that, if we're going back to the example of 45 megabit line, you'll see that we're only getting about 6 megabits. That's with FileCatalyst, we would be getting 44 megabits, or almost full 45. So you can see here that we're recovering 38 megabits out of that connection. North America to Europe, same example, 45 megabit line, but now with a latency, much higher latency. FTP slows down to 1 megabit. We continue going at 44.3. So we are recovering 43 megabits in this case. So as you can see, as RTT increases and the bandwidth stays the same, the throughput of FTP drops and FileCatalyst remains steady. So for FileCatalyst, it doesn't matter if you're sending files within a city or from North America to Europe, you'll get same bandwidth. So the product that we've integrated into Empress is called our FileCatalyst Direct product. And here I'm going to hand over the mic to Elton, and Elton is going to walk us through some of the features of FileCatalyst Direct and which of these components were the integrated, Empress integrated into their media asset management system. So here's Elton.
Now we're able to accelerate content in and out of your system. So what we have here is the overview of FileCatalyst Direct. So FileCatalyst Direct is our point-to-point file transfer solution. It requires software on both ends. It's a server-client model, so on the server side we have a FileCatalyst Direct that can sort of attach itself to any storage. So you can do, basically you can have the server mount to a NAS, a SAN, or even local storage. You can also manage the server using our FileCatalyst Server Admin or our FileCatalyst Central application. On the client side, we have a number of clients and that can do different things in that sense, apart from doing file transfer. So the hot folder application, it's our automation client. It allows you to schedule transfers and sort of really manage what content you want to upload or download from the server. FileCatalyst Express, it's our desktop application. It's more of a manual process, so if you want to do ad hoc transfers, it allows you to upload and download as well. Along with that, we have a no client install application, which is our web browser applets. So we offer upload-only applets, download-only, as well as two-way. We also offer headless applets, which expose a JavaScript interface that allows you to incorporate this into your own website and use the JavaScript call to get all the progress information, the file transfer details of the file transfers going on. We also have a strong SDK, it's a development toolkit. We have a command line, we have a Java, .NET, as well as iOS and Android as well.
So out of these client applications, which ones did you use to integrate with eMAM?
So with eMAM, and we'll see this in the upcoming slides, is we have the hot folder, we have the web browser applets, as well as our SDK was used to integrate to provide the ingestion and distribution.
Okay. So let me just go over why we have the ecosystem. Well, first of all, there's the big data is getting bigger, and a lot of workflows today are file-based. So they require you can transfer. You don't have to necessarily always move tapes around. You can actually transfer large media files now. So it's still very common in the industry to see shipping hard drives or shipping tapes around. So this can be first of all this can be sometimes quicker if it's very large files, but very, very common when you overnight at a hard drive. It will still take at least one full night to get there. If you can transfer that file over the internet and do it quickly and reliably and securely, you can get that file maybe in a span of a few hours now. So with the bandwidth improving everywhere in terms of fiber connections, in terms of high-speed cable connections. These instead of doing in your workflows, mailing tapes around, you can now send files using the internet. The bandwidth is also very diverse. Our customers are now working from something that is super fast, like fiber connections, or like super fast cable connections. I mean, you can now get a cable connection that is 50 to 100 megabits on uploads. Our clients are also working with very super slow connections, like satellite connections. So 256 kilobit satellite connection is very common still with our clients. Then there's also the new player in this is also all the 3G and 4G and LTE connections that come in. So you just turn your phone into a hotspot, and you transfer data using your phone as the hotspot. So that's another one. So the diversity of the bandwidth diversity has really changed a lot over the years, and we get links that are super fast, and we have links that are super slow, and anything in between. Once again, with a proper file transfer tools, you can maximize that you can optimize that workflow. Production teams now are worldwide. Hardly ever any show is made in a single spot. Everything is always all around the world. And once again, this large media files can be shipped. Instead of shipping disk, now you can transfer files. And what we've seen in the media and broadcast is our customers are not necessarily only looking for a file transfer piece. Sometimes they are, but very often they want to buy full solutions. So, they want to buy media asset management or a transcoder or a QA. So, if we bundle our fast file transfer with these solutions, then the customer has a much easier choice and much less integration to do, because all the integration has been done beforehand by Elton and our partners like Dave. For our ISV partners, this also provides the ability to speed up the ingestion and distribution. So now you can provide, our partners can provide options to their customers. What do you want to do? Do you want to do FTP for the solution, or do you want to use, SFTP or FileCatalyst or acceleration? So once again, this builds a much bigger, much better offering for the prospective clients of our ISV partners. So just to give you an idea here's some of our partners we've been working with. Today we have Empress, but we've been working with companies like Cyton, QuickLink, Telestream, Digital Rapids, Sematron. So we have a number of clients that have been integrated our software. So at this point I'm gonna turn over the mic to Dave, and Dave can walk us through the eMAM solution, as well as they talk about Kim and Elton will cover a little bit how we integrated FileCatalyst into Empress. So go ahead, Dave.
Great. Thanks so much. As we said, I'm Dave Miller, COO of Empress Media Asset Management, and eMAM is our media asset management solution. And we only have a few minutes, so I want to real quickly tell you what our system is, and then I want to show you or talk briefly about how the two companies work together. When I need to say 5 words or less, we are corporate YouTube, which is to say even my kids can play YouTube and figure out how to find a piece of content on YouTube, frankly, far too often. And the corporate part, or the organizational part, means that I want to have some control over who does what, where it goes, integrate with all my other internal processes, etc. So that's what our goal is at Empress, and our product is called eMAM. So here's one of our interfaces that we use for sharing with end user customers. And so a lot of our customers use this to provide content to their customers. And as you can see, it's a very intuitive interface in terms of finding a piece of content, and if you need to do something, you add it to a cart. Again, something even my kids can do, unfortunately. And if we go to the next slide.
Yeah, you can. I think you can click. There you go.
Oh, whoops. Okay, so in any case.
Let me take you back. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, just a second. One more.
So real quickly, this is our internal user interface. So the power users inside an organization are going to use this flexible interface, all built on a widget kind of interface. So flexible, and on the back end, we make it very, very powerful. We do all the pieces of the workflow, but we give people an easy-to-use interface to use the system and to find and process their content. So the challenge in media asset management, so in the middle of this diagram is eMAM, that's our media asset management. So content is the heart of any organization. Any media organization or any organization, content is the challenge and the opportunity for what they have, and it's their asset. So the challenge is to provide a complete integrated workflow, not just some piece of the puzzle. So we have to take the content from ingest to process and use to final delivery and all the pieces in between. As a small company, we can only accomplish all of this by working with partners. So we have lots and lots of integration partners. For example, on the ingest side, we work with Harmonic, Telestream, Adobe, Episode, and this list keeps on growing and growing. So we need all these as partners to power our media asset management system. And in coding, we work with a whole series of partners as well. But the challenge is this, as commented on before. Bring this content in, people are working in different locations. It's going to be a major challenge to move that big content. And it gets worse and worse over time as people go from standard definition to high definition to 4K, et cetera, because the files, the media files, just get larger and larger over time. And that's where our partnership with FileCatalyst comes in. So people can use our tool set, but now when there's a large file or they need an option for getting something somewhere quicker, now we provide that as an option. Inside our system, we do the full media asset management of managing the storage. This is a small list of our storage partners. We completely, from our interface, manage an LTO archive library experience and keep it away from the customer where anything is, but give them all the tool sets for doing all the search, preview, metadata, markers, everything they need to do with the content, sharing it with their editors, whether it's a project sharing type application or whether it's their craft editors. And when they're done with the content, sending it out to a CDN, sending out to the cloud, sending out to different devices, etc., sending it to an internal broadcast or other devices. Again, the same challenge we're going to have is when we're going to have to move those large files, how do we get them from point A to point B? And this is where, again, our partnership with FileCatalyst is so important, getting it done and getting it done much faster. So we integrate with their development tools, the Java applets, the API level for seamless integration. And at the ingest side, we have a desktop application that people use for ingesting content from any location worldwide. And obviously, if it's a small piece of something or they're not in a rush, they can use that directly with an FTP. But anything that's going to be large, they're going to need that option of accelerated file transfer. And the same logic on the back side. So anytime they go to deliver or download, we need to provide them with an option for getting things faster than a standard transfer rate. Now in terms of...
Sorry, thanks for that, Dave. We'll take over. And so, as Dave mentioned, with eMAM, you have the ability to ingest and distribute content. So if you break out those two components from the ingest side, he talked about the tools that have been used to integrate. And as John had asked early on, we have different clients that are used for the ingest and different clients are used for the distribution side of things. On the ingest, we've seen the FileCatalyst hot folder being used to automate the transfers into eMAM and the FileCatalyst service that sits alongside eMAM on the same network or the same machine. We have the FileCatalyst upload applet that's been integrated into the eMAM interface, as well as the SDKs that have been integrated into the eMAM desktop applications. On the distribution side, we again can use the hot folder because it can do both uploads and downloads, and we take advantage of the FileCatalyst download applet. Dave, did you want to add anything to that?
Nope, that's great.
Cool. Thank you. And yeah. So
Okay, and so, you want me to jump in? So,
Yeah.
so both from ingest and delivery, especially when we're talking about that high definition and 4K and going to 8K content, time gets too prohibitive. So our customers need to move away from sending hard drives, and that's where FileCatalyst and accelerated file transfer comes into play. And so now it becomes feasible to directly from our tool set make it really, really simple for people to use, but on the back end, they're using all the technology of the FileCatalyst accelerated transfer. And it goes without saying to anybody, time is money, and labor, and their staff time is money. So waiting for transfers and is the same for us as waiting for a search. People need to find something, and people need to get something right away. Because it's a totally integrated solution, it provides a single interface to the customer. And I had 2 screenshots of how easy it is in our interface to find something and to use something. So it's easy to train, it's easier to support, less confusion, and make it very, very simple and make it very, very usable. People can use these tools now for worldwide transfer from wherever they are into a centralized storage or into a cloud storage. So people do not need to install anything to do the FileCatalyst transfer. This works across platforms, and it provides a reliable way of getting stuff and getting stuff fast into the eMAM system.
And the reliability, I think, is one of the big factors too. What's the point of transferring files over the internet when the file could arrive corrupt? Then the whole task just doesn't make sense anymore. Might as well go back to shipping tapes. So reliability is really, I think, one of the big key features besides the speed that our clients are very accustomed to. And once again, with an eMAM, with Empress, this makes a lot of sense where you have to distribute or ingest large files. What's the point of ingesting a corrupt file? So if you have any questions, and Dave, would you like to add anything to that, or?
Nope.
Okay,
great.
So let's. If you have any questions, if you open up your GoToMeeting panel, you can type in a question. We can handle over it. We can cover it right here during the webinar. Or if you have any other questions later on, you can still for sure email us about it. So I have a couple of questions here. One question is for Dave. And can you tell us more about your overall integration experience with FileCatalyst APIs and FileCatalyst tools?
Sure. Well, as you could see from the diagram I had several ago, we've integrated with a whole series of companies because people want the complete workflow. And in addition to being nice guys, which is all fine and well, the FileCatalyst technology team was very supportive of the integration. So that's always so both grabbing the API, but then having support from our technology partner is a big part of getting a successful integration. So we were very, very pleased with that.
Okay, good. One more question here. Are we considering using FIMS with our partner ecosystem? Elton, maybe you might want to take that one.
Yeah, we're definitely, moving towards a FIMS framework.
Well, first of all, what is FIMS?
It's a framework for interoperability media services.
Okay.
So basically, I guess a group of people from, EBU had come together to find a way to have different companies offer different services to sort of speak the same language. So instead of everyone doing their own thing, they created a framework that people can respond to and sort of provide some sort of unity between all these different, the companies that are in the media space. So one of the requests, and one of the items in the FIMS framework is the ability to do file transfer. So they've exposed in a set of APIs that are basically like interfaces that people who in the file transfer business, if they want to be considered FIMS, compliant, they have to implement these APIs and these interfaces. So yes, FileCatalyst is definitely considering, and we actually have nearly completed the work around it. We plan on releasing this at NAB next year, and we'll be basically FIMS compliant, completely FIMS compliant at that point.
Okay. And keep in mind, FIMS is a much bigger framework than doesn't just pertain to file transfer. It pertains to any media operation, from transcoding, distribution, archival, and everything else. So last more question is: does FileCatalyst support automatic resumes? I'm assuming this means when you have a failed transfer. Yes, that's one of the reliability pieces of FileCatalyst. So if you want to automatically resume a transfer, let's say you're transferring a 6 gig file, the transmission breaks for any reason for a few seconds, we will resume from the point where we stopped. We'll first do an MD5, we'll resume, and continue transferring the file. So you don't have to retransmit the whole file all over again.
No question.
So one of the questions here is about our competitors and how different file transfer applications differ from each other. The technology is the difference really becomes on the feature set and price. The technology for transferring files is similar between all the file transfer accelerators, at least the ones that use UDP, that claim to use UDP for file transfer. The acceleration will be similar. Where the things will be different will be the feature set, ease of use, and price. One big thing is also you have to consider is flexibility of deployment. So if you, depending what you're trying to achieve, how many end users or end nodes you will have, you want to have something that is very easy to deploy, and of course the cost is kept low as well. So these are some of the points you might want to look at. Any other questions? That's all I have here. If you have any other questions later on, please send them offline. We'll be more than happy to answer. We'll forward them to Dave as well if you have any questions on Empress. Some of the upcoming events where we will be exhibiting will be at BVE in London in February. Then we're on to CAPSAT in Dubai in March, and then the big NAB show in April. So I think Dave, are you? I think Empress is also at NAB and the BVE.
Sure.
Assuming, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yep. We'll be probably both in the South Hall again.
Okay. Oh, so we'll be probably practically neighbors again. Okay.
Great.
Okay. So thank you very much. And
thanks so much.
Thank you for coming, joining us, Dave, this month. And stay tuned for the December webinar, which I think the topic is going to be coming up very shortly. Thank you.